getting closer to the All-Star break at this point of this My Career series. I have yet to upload my All-Star weekend clips, but it will be uploaded by next week as I have a lot of videos on my backlog that I have yet to release. And in this video, we're still continuing to play our games based on the schedules that we have. This one will consist of all Pacific Division teams besides the Lakers and Kings, as Draymond Green throws a alley-oop to Trace Jackson Davis, posterizing Walker Kessler, going back the other way as Lauri Markkanen posterizes Gary Payton. We were taking advantage of GP2's lack of size all game because for some reason they were guarding a 7-foot Lauri Markkanen. He was starting at the 3, but 2K's logic has to be fixed in terms of the matchups because they have to make sure that the best perimeter defenders get matched up on the best offensive player. Like, sometimes their logic makes no sense because in real life the coaches would usually hide their worst defensive player on the non-threat, and you just cannot do that in the games. And I can easily take advantage of it by having one of my other best offensive players on my team isolate the defender that's currently guarding him, like Colin Sexton. Whenever we play the Bulls, for example, he's always being guarded by Josh Giddey. Lauri Markkanen dunks it over. Draymond Green is standing dunk. I kind of wish I could get Lauri Markkanen to dunk it a lot more, as Gui Santos makes a 3 out of the Jonathan Kuminga dish. Man, I kind of feel bad for Jonathan Kuminga. He's been having a great season, only for him to sprain his ankle. And that's the turnover. Bros at work. Steph Curry tries to find Draymond Green and it just lands out of bounds. And then I force another turnover. I didn't get the steal, but it was last touch by Buddy Hield. Steph Curry and Draymond Green being called the Turnover Brothers is actually a funny duo nickname, but hilariously it's been very accurate throughout their careers, considering Steph Curry has been known for throwing a lot of those behind the back passes that usually end up in the ball going out of bounds or opponent stealing it, as we exploit Gary Payton's lack of size again. Like, I kind of wonder what the Warriors were thinking with starting Gary Payton, knowing that Lauri Markkanen is 7 foot and he's only 6'3". Like, we already know how much Steve Curry's the fanatic for those 3 guard lineups, even though they tend to backfire on him at times. Like, I get what he's going for. Those three guard lineups are helpful for his pace and space type of play. We actually scored the first 11 points of this quarter until this Draymond 3 right there to end that one. We were down by as much as 13 at the start of the second half, but we've been executing a lot better, which allowed us to come back within striking distance, down by 2. And I've been super wary about Steph Curry because you already know how good he is off ball, and then when he tries to drive to the paint, just one mistake and then he's just gonna go all the way to the paint already. Walker Kessler gets his revenge by blocking that alley-oop, and then he draws the foul on TJD. He didn't want to be embarrassed again by Trace Jackson Davis, and we run on my favorite plays, the Utah Fist 23 go. And instead of passing it back out, I lay it up instead, knowing that Gary Payton is the one trying to block that. And Steph Curry just hit me with a hand down, man down from the Delta Center logo. He's just that deadly of a shooter that if you don't contest hard on him, he's just going to make it every time. Even though he may miss once in a while, as a defender, you want to make it very hard on him. And if he makes it, you just gotta tip your hats off. And I run a pick and roll. John Collins making a skip pass to Sexton. We take the lead. We were down by 13, but the Warriors were just hanging around. I just did an up and under on the Anthony Melton with the shot clock winding down. Imagine if the Anthony Melton did not get injured, because he's been playing super well for Golden State, providing that extra defense at the guard spot, and he's a much better shooter than Gary Payton. He's much more of an offensive threat. After that Dallas game, the first game where Klay Thompson returned, that was when the injury happened. And look at me just trying to make sure Steph Curry doesn't get the ball earlier. I blocked Buddy Hield, and that's thanks to my GOAT skills giving me that 99 dunk, and it leads to a Colin Sexton fast break dunk. And we were still continuing our game plan that we implemented for the rest of the game. We're attacking Gary Payton, taking advantage of the mismatch, a huge mismatch at that. Going to the free throw line for a chance to take the lead, and I only make one of two. Back the other way, Steph Curry passes it all the way to Gary Payton from the corner. He makes it, and it was a huge shocker when he made that one, because he is not normally a threat. Continuing to run the fist 23 go. Lauri Markkanen wide open on the top of the key. He ties the game right back. And that connection me and Markkanen had, that's going to be what we're going to do for clutch time most of the time. And I make a fatal mistake letting Curry cut back door. I jumped the wrong way trying to block it. Golden State takes the lead right back. They run the fist 23 go, but I wanted to be the one to be the ball handler, because Sexton would never pass that one back out after the pick is successful. So we run this play. Gary Payton makes the same mistake, and Markkanen makes him pay. Now we take the lead. 2-minute drill upcoming, and I have to make sure that Steph Curry doesn't get open for three. They try to set a down screen, and they're trying to run the pick and roll with Gary Payton, a guard-to-guard screen. And that was a great defensive possession right there. I contested that one. So now we're under the 2-minute mark, and we're trying to run the clock down. 12 seconds left. I call for a pick and roll with Markkanen. Gary Payton is not going to be able to guard him, so I alley-oop it to him. High flyer Lauri Markkanen is back at it. He can catch those lobs whenever he can. He's low-key athletic. Steph Curry tries to tie the game. He misses that one. We have all the momentum on our side. The clock is low-key our friend. So I try to look for a play for Colin Sexton. I want him to run the offense so that he can get more confident in clutch time. We take too long to run our set, so I have to shoot a desperation three, and I make it. Unbelievable sequence of events right there, up by 6. Momentum is fully on our side. Steph Curry once again misses it. So we're definitely gonna hold on to win. No one's guarding John Collins, and he puts the nail in the coffin, securing the win for us. That was the last game before the trade deadline. We tried to get Daniel House to compensate for not getting Kenyon Martin Jr., but we failed. So this is our lineup for the rest of the season, with some changes upcoming. Our next game is against the Phoenix Suns, and the Suns are one of those teams that I feel like are going to give us a very tough time, considering that we have to deal with 3 threats on the floor at all times, with Devin Booker, Bradley Beal, and especially Kevin Durant. The last time we played against the Suns, Kevin Durant just torched us. He scored 55 points, and he was just making everything from pull-up mid-ranges, the open catch-and-shoot threes, even the post fadeaways. And then I have to have my hands full guarding Devin Booker, because he has a lethal mid-range game, and he can also pull up from 3 from time to time. So I can't always sag off of him, because when I try to prevent the drive, he could just end up picking the mid-range, and he's lethal from there. And I've had my fair share of burdens trying to lock down the mid-range specialists like Kyrie Irving and Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. And it can also apply to Steph Curry with his 3-ball. So I can't just give them even a tiny bit of space and they can just make me pay. And this next clip is going to show you how to attack the mismatch. So you see Tyus Jones and Walker Kessler, they try to double team. I cut back door, forcing the help, which leaves John Collins for the 3. I sort of wish there was a way for 2K to make the CPU teammates pass the ball immediately when there's someone wide open. Because from what I noticed, there are times where one of your teammates are already wide open and the one that has the ball takes too long to pass it, allowing the defense to recover. And in the real NBA, most of the players would make that read right away. Got Tyus Jones leaning on that step back jumper. They didn't even switch that one, so I was wide open for 3. KD was still continuing to torch us from the perimeter. It didn't even matter who was guarding him. We just couldn't even stop him from making his shots. And I don't know what just happened right there. I got stuck on my teammate, but we got the switch anyway, so I had to call for a pick and roll. And that was an easy layup to the rim for me because Mo Bamba was sealing off Devin Booker, and that was a total mismatch. And John Collins just alley-oop posters Robert Williams. He actually got traded from Portland in exchange of Yusuf Nurkic. Even in 2K, the Suns actually moved on from Nurkic because he was just that bad this season. And this next sequence will consist of a lot of Lauri Markkanen clips showing everybody here that Kevin Durant is not the only sniper in the NBA that is 6'11" above, as I steal it from Kevin Durant, leading to that fast break opportunity. And we were just finding him in every single play. I just pass it up ahead. Markkanen over Grayson Allen. Grayson Allen is too short for him. Turns out, as much as our defenders are no match for Kevin Durant, their defenders are also no match for Lauri Markkanen, as I make a mistake trying to take a charge in the backcourt, allowing Devin Booker to shoot that 3. It's a back and forth between two near 7-foot snipers. KD 6'11", Lauri 7 feet, and Markkanen just kept on torching the Suns the whole game. We tried to get him open yet again, but we decided to run another freelance action, and this was the most patient offensive possession that we had. With 2 seconds left, I get the screen from Walker Kessler, and I was open from mid-range as a result. KD tried to attack John Collins yet again. I call for the help. Collins gets called for a foul. There was barely any contact on that one, so I decided to call for a challenge right away. No pause needed, no checking of the instant replays, straight up challenge. See, there it wasn't even that much contact. Come on.
If they're adamant that the call
after the review, the ruling on the floor is overturned.
The call is overturned, and as a bonus, Walker Kessler actually gets a block. We run one of my favorite plays. They don't leave Markkanen open, so he swings it to John Collins for the 3. That's a good thing about our power forward being able to shoot 3s, because if they leave him open to try and contest Markkanen, that's another good option for us. The Suns were threatening to come back into this game. With 3 minutes left, Bradley Beal makes a 3 to bring them to within 6. I had to call a timeout, and after that timeout, we run that staple down screen for Markkanen. He's wide open for 3. He still has that fire that he had from the entire game. Trying to lock down Devin Booker. I have my GOAT skills on. And he still made that mid-range anyway. It doesn't matter. I was trying to prevent him from driving, but he countered that one very well. They have a lot of work to get done before they can come back into this game. But we were not having it because Colin Sexton would make another wide open three, bringing us up by 10 points. Less than 2 minutes left. The clock is our friend. They double team Markkanen on the post, but they leave him wide open for three, and he kills them yet again. Up by 13. And you know Devin Booker is mad. I tried to pressure him from the full court. He's mad. He goes all the way to the basket, trying to get some meaningless points. Passing it up ahead to Markkanen. He has to step. He still has Grayson Allen in him. Allen is still too small for Larry, and one. Grayson Allen cannot defend our 7-foot sniper. 128 to 116 in favor of us. Bring our horns play. They leave Markkanen wide open yet again. He continues his hot streak against the Suns. Unbelievable stretch of events. Redeeming ourselves after being torched by Kevin Durant in our last game. John Collins steals it from him, and he puts the icing on the cake with that tomahawk slam. That was a great way for us to redeem ourselves after getting embarrassed in our last game. Next game is against the Clippers. It's a back-to-back. Pulling off our experiment lineups this time. No Colin Sexton, no Lauri Markkanen, no John Collins. And this game is dedicated to showing appreciation to the youngsters on our squad, namely Keontae George, Cody Williams, Bryce Sensabaugh, even Svi Mikhailuk, and of course we have Walker Kessler. Walker Kessler has played in all of our games so far, no missed games, and he's been very important because he's part of the reason why the rim protection has been very good. Calling for a pick and roll, trying to attack our former teammate Drew Eubanks. I alley-oop it to Kessler. Like I said, our alley-oop game has been much more improved, and it's all because of our chemistry. And this game is also one of Walker Kessler's best defensive games. He gets a block, and he forces Drew Eubanks, our former teammate, to miss a dunk. I can't wait to see how Walker Kessler's development is gonna go. 5 seconds left on the shot clock. Sensabaugh takes a pull-up three, and he made it. Sensabaugh has actually been working a lot on his self-creation game for the Jazz, low-key. And I actually hope that the Jazz can continue on with his development. Terrence Mann answers back with a pull-up three of his own. Terrence Mann is no longer on the Clippers, actually. He was among the people that was traded for Bogdan Bogdanovic. I'm kind of intrigued to see how Terrence Mann would be able to fit in with this current Hawks squad. How is he able to replicate what DeAndre Hunter did for them earlier this season? Because DeAndre Hunter got traded to the Cleveland Cavs. Walker Kessler gets another block, and that's also because Cody Williams was guarding Kawhi very well. I had him take on the assignment so that he can develop his defensive instincts a lot more. I know people are disappointed that as a 10th pick he hasn't been doing very well, but from what I've seen, some of the flashes, I'm kind of intrigued on how he's going to be able to do as a lockdown defender once he gets his strength up and more of his confidence on the court. It's almost looking like he's going to have a similar development trajectory to one of his teammates, Taylor Hendricks. Also long, has a long wingspan, and has an archetype of him being able to be a great defender as well. It's unfortunate that Hendricks is out for the season with the right leg injury, because he was going to have a great sophomore season as well. But now it's going to be up to the development of guys like Bryce Sensabaugh, Kyle Filipowski, or should we call him Flip? I should start calling him Flip, actually, every time I play with him in this MyCareer mode. And also Isaiah Collier. A lot of people have been questioning Keontae George's IQ, especially with the amount of shots he takes, the amount of reckless drives, because people are losing confidence in him day in and day out. And I take a post fadeaway. I wanted to show a clip of that because that's not one of the shots that I take very often. I try to pick the one going right so that I can feel more comfortable doing that one. Because I actually got the timing of the post fadeaway going left. And if I want to be more versatile in my shot diet, I have to be able to master the post fadeaways as well. Mo Bamba is gonna get his revenge against his old team, getting a block on Harden. That was also the only clip where I was able to play with Isaiah Collier. I wanted to show appreciation for him as well. Like, I want to let all of our young bloods get their minutes. And that was also an elite two-way sequence from Kessler because he got a block and he goes all the way for the and one. He'll end up making that free throw. So that's a good three-point play for him. And this is yet another clip where you're going to see Cody Williams' defensive flashes and how it's going to affect his development going forward. In a good way at least. Because the only way you're going to be able to develop your defense is if you guard some of the best players in the league. You're not going to be able to develop those instincts just trying to hide in the corner most of the time. Turns out my CPU teammates got the pick and roll connections. Because every time I would see them run it, they always make the risk and it always pays off. Zvi Mikhailuk is the screener for that Utah Fist 23 go. I'm actually glad it's not just Lauri Markkanen that's the screener, because you can run that play for anybody who can shoot the three. I got James Harden in the air. I do that sidestep going left. One of my favorite animations. It's one of the most lethal ones when you get someone in the air. As I isolate Drew Eubanks, one of my former teammates, I get past him easily and I make an and one as a result. And he is not happy that he just got cooked by his former teammate, because in this possession, I shouldn't have pump faked that, and he just volleyball spikes it to the crowd, redeeming himself after that embarrassing possession. Having Cody Williams guard James Harden this time, leading into a Walker Kessler block. He even had his takeover on that game. It was looking like it was going to be one of his best defensive performances of this season. Kevin Porter Jr. tries to go all the way. Bryce Sensabaugh wants to join the block party. And we go the other way. I have Drew Eubanks on me again. He doesn't even want to guard me, so I go all the way attacking Norman Powell on that fast break. And I go to the bench. We were up by 9 and we only scored 2 points after that one, down by 8. And it was not looking good for us afterwards. We were down 13 at this point of the video. Passing it to Sensabaugh for the 3. He's a much better shooter now than the ratings would like to admit, because when I first played this save file, it was at 73, which is not like how I expected him to shoot. Cody Williams getting cooked by Kawhi Leonard that possession shows that you're not always going to stop the greatest offensive players for as much great defense as you play on them in every other possession, because they'll always find a way to score. Sometimes all you have to do is just pray they miss, because even when you play Bruce Bowen type of defense, you can only do so much. That's why teams normally game plan on how to make sure that the star players give up the ball and let the role players kill you, because they don't put as much fear in the opposing team's heart compared to how the superstars or all-star players do. But even then, not all of the all-star players are as scary as people think they may be, but that doesn't mean that they're less of a threat than the role players are. And that's the reason why teams usually game plan on how to take the ball out of the hands of the offensive threat, whether it's a shot creator or a spot up shooter or someone in the post. Whatever they specialize in, your goal is to make them as uncomfortable as possible. Less than 2 minutes left. We're at the 2-minute drill. Keontae George misses the first free throw. We were supposed to bring ourselves closer to the game because I don't know what just happened. How did we lose the lead when I go to the bench? And that's actually a concern for teams going forward into the season. How are they going to survive the minutes without their best player on the floor? There's a reason why the best players have to play a lot of minutes, and it can wear them out as the season goes on. Trying to get Keontae George going in the clutch, I wanted him to get more comfortable in situations like these. So I tried to make sure that he can make the right decision, and he makes a very bad one, tries to alley-oop it to Kessler. I have my GOAT skills on, so I can take the Kawhi Leonard matchup for this one. He tries to drive it, and I get scored on. I was playing good defense on him that possession until he just got too close. Down by 8, Keontae George tries to attack the basket yet again. He's been struggling, but that doesn't mean he's less confident. I wanted him to redeem himself with a dunk after I steal it from James Harden, but the time is not our friend. Less than 3 seconds left. James Harden uses the pick and roll, and he ends the game with an and one. It was a bummer that we lost because that was the great defensive performance by Kessler, but this game is for development purposes, so it's all good at the end of the day. So with 30 seconds, and look, another fail. I'm at 11, 10 seconds to go. I'm still at 2 stars. Oh, another fail. I'm at 12. Come on, 5 seconds. I am so lucky enough to get the 3rd star at the end of that workout. So that was so much different.